All right, everyone, we are live. Nick Kirby behind the scenes. Chuck and Houdini with you. Kirby, show the beautiful mugs. Let the people in. Welcome into the chat room, everyone. Let's reset this thing. 90 seconds to go. Bearcats have the ball down by 2. Three-pointer is good for Seamus Lukosius. That is supercalifragilistic Seamus Lukosius. Bearcats 63, Mountaineers 62. A minute 17 to go. Thank you, Kirby. I'm guessing the delay is still on tonight. 70 seconds to go. Mountaineers have the ball down by 1. Three-pointer. Got it. Raycon Battle hits a 3. Mountaineers up 2. A minute to go. Lukosius probing. 47 seconds to go. Wes Miller calls a timeout. West Virginia 65, Cincinnati 63. Now is a good time to welcome you in, Houdini. Buckle up, folks. It's going to be not a fun finish. Bearcats had a chance to put them away. They're up, I think, 9 at about the 5-minute mark. And since then, it's been an atrocity. It's been a travesty. I hate what I'm watching. Once again, welcome, Houdini.
Yeah, another day, same story. Thought actually we were up 10 with like 4 minutes left. I thought maybe to wrap this one up cleanly. That is certainly not the case, and West Virginia might steal one from us in a must-win scenario. I hope I'm wrong, but my God, I feel like I've seen this before.
I have an electric post-game show lined up if the Bearcats somehow win this game. If they lose, I got nothing for you. We're going to run through it, and I have the bagpipes ready to go because this would be quite the hit to the Bearcats tournament resume. UC sits with no bad losses right now. This, even on the road against a prominent program, would qualify as a pretty bad loss. One that Kansas has, but a bad loss nonetheless.
Yeah, we can't afford it. We don't have the wins that Kansas has, obviously. If we lose, we might just have to play the bagpipes the entire show, just 20 minutes straight. No audio whatsoever besides that.
Until we get to the Miles McBride interview, and that's a tease. We had Deuce McBride on our show, The Chatter, today. We'll play a little clip from that. He talked about UC. I got that teed up and ready to go. Why didn't Mick Cronin recruit him? Would he have chosen Cincinnati? We have all the answers to that, so you're going to have to stick around until the end. This TV timeout has taken forever. Guess it's not a
Former
TV.
West Virginia player, by the way, Cincinnati kid, now plays for the New York Knicks. If you didn't know.
All right, 47 seconds to go. Cincinnati's ball. 16 on the shot clock. It's West Virginia 65. It's Cincinnati 63. I'm not looking at the chat room. I hope you're not, Houdini. We're about to inbound it. Are we on the same page here, or are you ahead of me?
Nope. I think I'm actually I can hear the TV in the other damn room. That's slightly ahead of what I got on my phone right now. But
okay. Well, my reaction's going to give it away for you. Day Thomas, top of the key. Locken fires up a 3. And he missed it. What's Locken shooting there? Locken's had a bad game. Locken thought he was Kevin Pittsnoggle today, and he has not been.
Don't foul.
33 seconds to go.
7 seconds.
They foul. Dumb play. This team doesn't know how to win games, man. This team does not know how to close out games. Saw it against Texas. Seeing it again today.
This isn't the guy you want to foul.
Kerr Kriza, 80% on the season. Aziz Bandego fouls out with 4 points. I'm getting a text that comes in that says I'm done with Locken. Look, Locken was sick. They cleared him before this game. He went 0 of 5, 0 of 4 shooting from 3 with 0 points. What the hell is he doing on the floor at the end of the game? We haven't gone at Wes in a little bit. That's bad coaching, man. That is bad coaching, having him on the floor at the end of the game. I know he's been one of your best players this year, but watch the film. Watch what you're, seeing develop real time. He did not play well. 0 points, 2 rebounds.
Yeah, that's been kind of Wes's kryptonite all year. He sticks with his guys regardless of what has happened for the entirety of the game. There's no reason. He has been one of our best guys. It was not his night under any circumstance. Should not be out there right now closing the game.
And firing up the final 3?
Dial up a Victor Locken 3 after we saw him airball 3 today. Perfect.
Missed it. Cincinnati's going to have a shot here. And if we go into another overtime, maybe we just stop the stream and then restart it here in a little bit. We just go out for a cold one or something because that's overtime nowadays is about 25 minutes of real time. Timeout Cincinnati. They're down 3:27 seconds to go. Now's a good time to welcome everyone. Let's see how many we got on the show tonight. We got 24 on. How we doing, folks? This is a catastrophe, Reds Daily. What else do we got? Who won that UCF game, by the way?
I have no idea. I've been locked in on West Virginia all day.
I'll let you guys know. This scoreboard update is brought to you by JTM. JTM, have it your way. Is that their slogan? The Together Again. Shout out Chris Welsh and Bronson Arroyo. All right, final score from Orlando. It's not final, but Baylor's up by 7, 73-66 over UCF. 74-66. You can just about put a stake in that one. It's over. Baylor's going to win. UCF's going to drop to 3-5 in the Big 12. Baylor's going to go to 4-3. Laser focused on this one. Cincinnati has the ball, plenty of time. You go for a 3 or a 2 here with 27 seconds to go.
Well, Newman's out. Clearly, C.J. Frederick may never play again. So I think you try to go for a quick 2 and foul and hope or go for a turnover and play the free throw game rather than dialing up a 3. Even though we did get a little hot, I just don't know who you dial up the 3-point shot for at this point. I don't trust Day. I know he's knocked down a few of them, but I don't think that's going to be our best play here.
We'll get into that in just a bit. The second half surge that the Bearcats had after going 1 of 10 in the first half, 8 of 20 in the second half. So they were knocking down threes. They out-rebound West Virginia 41-31. How the hell is this a game, dude? West Virginia is not good. I mean, just look at the crowd right now and the energy that's in this arena, or at least that was the first 35 minutes. And that's all you need to know that West Virginia really stinks, because this place was like a funeral home for the entirety of the game. They let the fans get back in it, and now Newman's out. Aziz Bandego's fouled out on the bench, and you're down to your final 27 seconds. Bearcats have the ball.
Yeah, they're going small,
which they should have done all game. I don't see why they don't put Jizzle and Day in there more together. A nice play. Open 3, not an open 3. Horrible shot. Goes off the top of the backboard. Day Thomas. You mentioned that I don't want Day taking a 3. I don't want Day taking a 29-footer that almost goes over the hoop. What are you doing, Wes? What are you doing, Wes? Yeah, he's scratching his head. I'm scratching my head, too.
I mean, that's comical.
Bearcats are going to lose. Was there ever a moment in this game where you thought they were going to lose?
No, not until the last 2 minutes of the game. My God, I don't even know what the final count is on this run they've been on. But holy shit, Day, you got to be smarter than that. If it's not there, I don't mind it if he's wide open. But holy hell, what does he think? He's Tracy McGrady shooting a fadeaway?
Missed free throw.
Yeah, I mean, this is the guy you want on the line. So,
all right. So West Virginia misses the first. God, another number 7 for the Mountaineers. When did they make that switch to where you can wear 7 and 8? Second free throw, good. 2-possession game, 21 seconds left. Take the ball to the rim. I'm guessing Day-Day's going to miss a layup here. I'm like Nostradamus. Instead, they give it to Skillings. Launches a long 3, air ball. Bearcats are going to lose.
My God. I mean, did us hitting a few threes in the second half, did we forget that we're not a good three-point shooting team? That's what we go to. 3 threes. I don't even know if we hit the rim on the last 3 possessions. Holy hell. That's an abomination as far as handling down the stretch. You got to take the ball to the rim.
Yeah, this show just got a lot quicker. Missed free throw. Not over yet, Houdini. I get another text. That was an unforgivable and just atrocious last 5 minutes. Goodness. Oh, the texts are streaming in now. Bearcats fans are pissed. Hop in the chat, folks. Misery loves company. 5-point game, 14 seconds left. Here comes Jizzle James. Clock didn't start. A little malfunction in West Virginia. Oh, dude. You got to win at Texas Tech, man. You got to nullify this win. You got to win at Texas Tech.
Absolutely. I mean, we've been saying all year, like, no bad losses. I don't know what West Virginia, this is like a quad 3 loss, something along those lines, which we haven't had yet this year. You can't have these, especially with that loss to Texas, the Oklahoma loss at home. You cannot afford to lose to West Virginia or Oklahoma State, and it sure as hell looks like. Right when I saw Bob Huggins, I'm like, oh, we're screwed. We're screwed. West Virginia's, they got our number. Bobby Huggs is in attendance. We're in trouble.
First time these two have played since 2012. They fouled Day-Day, so Day-Day's going to the line. No, that was team foul number 5. So they're going to waste a few more seconds. 5-point game. Cincinnati needs a 3. They're not going to make a 3. Maybe you put back in Locken, give him the shot. 10 seconds to go. They fired into Locken. It falls off his hands. It'll stay with Cincinnati. 9 seconds left. Wes is pissed.
I'll probably review this.
They said it's definitely off Locken. Should we just start the show? Yep, that's off Locken. That's ball game, folks. That's ball game.
Yep, I'll do it.
Third conference win for West Virginia, and Cincinnati just pissed one away. There's no other way to describe it.
Get the bagpipes ready. This is sick. God, can I just have a nice Wednesday night?
No, you
just
can't.
One time.
After
no,
we get
I
McBride on earlier, it's a great day.
Yeah.
We have a blast, and that's what we get.
Thank you to the West Virginia troll in the chat. Wes, put the clipboard away. What are you drawing up, dude? Let's get another lock-in 40-footer. Let's draw that play up again.
West Virginia fans calling us bozos. They beat us in basketball and football. Look, there's nothing to go back to. That's a bad loss. It's a game you should not lose. West Virginia is not better. West Virginia sucks, and you just blew it. You had control the entire game. You blew it. And that funeral home turned into a little late-night rave. They're heading to Joe Mama's in the sports page. One of our buddies, Broadbeck, actually, he drove up to Morgantown for this game. That's got to be depressing.
Yeah, to go and lose to a 7-13 West Virginia team driving up to Morgantown. What's he going to do after? I mean, like, you probably just drive home at that point. I mean, there's no
work
point
in the morning. Yeah,
he
was getting ready to party. He was going to have himself a Wednesday night. I think he took off work tomorrow. At that point, yeah, you just drive the 6 hours back or whatever it may be. And now I'm getting Instagram calls from Xavier fans. This is tough, man. This is tough. This is a loss we had not experienced it. And now the Cats have it on their resume. That's a really bad loss that's going to hurt come March. Yeah, there's no losing to Iowa State anymore. You may have to sneak one out against Houston. You may have to, if you don't beat Houston, you may have to win a road game, whether it be Texas Tech or whether it be a road game at Oklahoma. You just don't have many more games that you can afford to lose. Bearcats chuck it long. Aziz drops it. Dan grabs it. Missed layups, typical. Another missed layup made. It's over. It's a 4-point game with 4 seconds to go. Kirby get the final score up. 69-65. Final heave. It doesn't matter. All right, let's start the show, everyone. Chatterbox Bearcats. I hate that we have to do this and play this song that gets the folks fired up. But win or lose, we do the post-game show. And that's what we're doing tonight. Chatterbox Bearcats with Chuck and Houdini. Welcome to the West Virginia fans. Congratulations. That's tough. Bearcats lose. Welcome into Chatterbox Bearcats with Chuck and Houdini. Final score from Morgantown, West Virginia. The Mountaineers improved to 8-13, 3-5 in the Big 12 with a 69-65 win over Cincinnati, who drops to 14-7, 3-5 in the Big 12. And this was the song that I had ready to play. I had it ready to go. Super excited to talk about the Bearcats' potential chances for an NCAA tournament bid. So, what was I going to play? You know what I was going to play, Houdini, right out of the gate. We were going to give it one of these. And instead, you know what we're playing? It's back to what we were doing against Xavier. Should we just do this for the rest of the show? Play the bagpipes? I mean, it's fitting at this point because that's a game that Cincinnati had no business losing. Up by 9 points with 5 minutes to go, they find a way to lose it down the stretch. Opening thoughts?
Awful. A game, we were just talking about it before we jumped on. You can't lose this game. Looking at the Big 12 schedule, this was one of those that you had to pencil in as a win if we wanted to stay. At Lenardi, I know it doesn't really matter. He's got his first four out. We're going to drop significantly. This is our worst loss of the year by far, and now we gotta knock off some big dogs, like you were saying, like the Iowa State game, Texas Tech. We can't lose those anymore. I don't know what, as far as what we did down the stretch, was an abomination. I mean, truly, up 9 points. They can't figure out the pick and roll defense. I think that's something tangible that Wes is going to have to work on with Edwards. And Edwards not being hurt, because I think he was hurt like the whole year, absolutely killed us. I mean, he demolished us, 25-10. We had no answer for Creasa and that little pick and roll with Edwards, man. It was brutal down the stretch, man.
This was a lose-lose, but it would have been a big win. And what I mean by that is you get nothing from winning this game against West Virginia. It's survive in advance if the Bearcats win. They lost the game to West Virginia, and now they have a quad 3, I believe. Fact check me. But I think it's a quad 3 loss on the resume. And one that Kansas has. West Virginia is not an atrocity. Their record would say otherwise, but they've won a couple Big 12 games, one being over Kansas, and you watch them, and they clearly have some talent on that team. I mean, their point guard was Arizona's starting point guard last year for a number 2 seat. But you win this game, it's a big win because now you're down to potentially Oklahoma State as your last game that can really nullify some big wins. Because you go into the tournament conversation and you have 3-4 wins over quad 1 teams and you don't have any quad 2, quad 3, or quad 4 losses, you're in pretty damn good shape to make the NCAA tournament. This, it stings, man, and I hate that lose-lose game. They would have gotten nothing from winning this game, but they needed that win, and the Bearcats did not get it. They lose by 4. I would say the team's in good shape. I would have said it about 30 minutes ago real time. The team is not in good shape right now. They desperately need a win at Texas Tech, or they're going to drop to 3-6 in the Big 12. That game is on the road at Texas Tech, and the schedule doesn't get any easier from there. We could talk about the future in just a little bit, but let's talk about what happened down the stretch. A big-time three-pointer by Simas Lukosius with about a minute to go. That put the Bearcats up 1. Raekwon Battle responded with a three-pointer of his own. West Virginia goes up 2. It turned into a 3-point game. No, it stayed 2. And what did the Bearcats do? They go with a Victor Locken 3. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was Locken that went for the 3, thinking he was Kevin Pittsnoggle, firing up a deep one that looked like his 3 at the end of the first half, which is an atrocity, and he missed everything. Not a good shot, and that is how the Bearcats lose it. Victor Locken played his worst game of the season. I know that he was sick, missed the last game, probably didn't practice much, but it hurt having him take that last shot of the game. It hurt having him on the floor in that situation. You mentioned it, Houdini. Should have been one of those games where West kind of read the room and saw the writing on the wall that it wasn't Vic's night.
Yeah, and it's on the coach to make that adjustment. I mean, Victor, he's got to maintain his confidence, and you just don't want him shooting that shot, especially he's 0 for 5. He was a 0 across the board. He had 3 rebounds, 4 turnovers, and 3 fouls. 0 points. That's the guy we're going to in the most crucial moment of the game. Absolutely not. I would have taken it if he was shooting, a 6-footer in the lane, something along those lines, a 3, and then to follow it up with the Day Tracy McGrady fadeaway from 30 feet with 3 guys in his face. We still had 30 seconds on the clock. just really bad execution to end this game. We could letting the 10-point lead slip with 5 minutes. You don't expect that from this UC team. And I don't know, I was thinking, if you're going to be a good team, you got to have a few different ways to beat a team. And I'm not sure we have that. It's going to be a rock fight every time we play. We started to hit some shots, but at the end of the day, I mean, we shot 38% from the field, 28% from three, but it felt like they were shooting 75% from three in the second half because they made a few. But we got to find other ways to win games, and you got to close out. I mean, we've lost, I think, our 5 conference games by an average of 5 points or less. That's a problem with executing down the stretch, right? It can't happen that many times for it just to be bad luck. And this certainly wasn't one of them. We had the game and we blew it.
Cincinnati can't shoot. It's been the theme of the season, despite what the numbers said at the beginning of the year. We all looked at the roster, especially with no C.J. Frederick, and you see a roster with a bunch of guys that aren't amazing three-point shooters. Skewed at the beginning of the year because of some of the numbers that Victor Locken was putting up when he was shooting 50+% from deep. That's not going to happen every single game, and it hasn't happened in a while as Locken has been struggling. And, man, just you hate to see it as a whole. 1 of 10 in the first half was Cincinnati from 3. In the second half, they were pretty hot. They went 8 of 22, but a lot of those missed shots were down the stretch where the Bearcats really couldn't do anything from three-point range. I think they missed their last 5 or so. So they shot it well in the second half. They out-rebound West Virginia 42-33 in the game, and it makes you wonder, how the hell do they lose this game? How do you blow this game up by nearly double digits with about 5 minutes to go, and it came down to a few turnovers here and there, bad shot selection down the stretch, and you got to give it to West Virginia, man. They hit shots. Battles 3 especially. They hit shots.
They hit shots at the end of the game. I mean, they gave us every opportunity, missing those free throws towards the end, but we we're having a competition of who can shoot a shittier shot to end the game, apparently. The technical on Reynolds, I don't know if there's any inside information on. He better have said something insane to that ref or to the bench, because it looked like he did absolutely nothing, and that was kind of a big swing at that point in time. I know we ended up taking the lead after that, but what the hell was that call? Did you see that?
Yeah, it was almost as bad of a call as TCU when Dan Skillings was at the free throw line and they put time on the clock after he shot the free throw. Not quite as egregious as that, considering I literally think that's illegal. You can't do that. You can call it technical on whoever you want. I don't know what Jamil said or did, but let's run through the box score, man. 13 points for Seamus Lukosius, 15 for Dan Skillings, 12 for Day Thomas, 9 for John Newman, 4 for Aziz Bandego, 4 for Jamil Reynolds, 4 for Odi Oguama, 2 for Jizzle James, 2 for Josh Reed. His Cincinnati drops to 14-7, 3-5 in the conference. And, dude, 28%, I heard at one point. The Bearcats were shooting 28% from three-point range in Big 12 conference play. That's not good at all. And they keep firing them up. I mean, they shot 32 of them. At the same time, though, especially when John Newman went out, because people don't talk about how big a loss that was down the stretch. He goes out with a couple minutes left. And, John Newman is the steady hand that guides the ship. And unfortunately, they crashed into a couple rocks, couple icebergs down the stretch. They didn't have Newman. They really didn't have anyone that could create their own shot. Dan Skillings did it at moments, but he was mainly scoring from behind the three-point line. Day had a few nice plays, Seamus, but aside from that, man, this team does not have an assassin. They do not have a go-to player down the stretch, and that is partly why they lost this game. They have a steady hand. They probably win.
No, it's ugly every game. You still expect to win this game in particular, especially when they were up 10. Shout out Luke Lamb, I guess that is the silver lining. Pitchers and catchers report in 10 days. So maybe we have something else to talk about than watching UC just clank a bunch of shots every damn game. But this is a game you got to win. You got to put the ball in the damn hoop. We started to rely on the three at the very end of the game. I have no idea why, and it's going to be hard to sleep tonight thinking about those 3 threes that we chucked up with absolutely no business having them. But defensively, I think, is where we kind of blew it at the end of the game. That's usually kind of our bread and butter. You see up 10, you do not anticipate, I don't care who we're playing, with 4 minutes left, that they're going to blow that lead with the defense that they play and the rebounding ability that we have. That went out the window. I don't know if it's the air in Morgantown or what. Bob Huggins was just breathing down their throats, and we let one slip away. But it was ugly. I feel like I'm a broken record. We say this every game. We're like, God, that was disgusting. That was shameful to watch, and it happens every game. We got to figure it out, though.
Baylor figured it out on the road at UCF. That was the only other Big 12 game tonight. Baylor 77, UCF 69. Cincinnati's fighting with a bunch of teams in conference for a potential NCAA berth. Kansas State maybe Texas. Who else is going to be on the bubble? I mean, half the conference, it feels like, is going to be on the bubble because they're all beating up on each other. Cincy's going to have plenty of chances to get back in it. The best way to do it is against Texas Tech on Saturday. No easy task. Let's throw up the schedule real quick.
Yeah,
as
Texas
the Bearcats
Tech.
travel, that's a 6 o'clock game. At Texas Tech, then it's Houston. So you could very easily start off 3-7, and we could be talking about, the Reds pitchers and catchers reporting. Is Corky Miller back for another stint? Is he coming out of retirement? That could be the talk from us on this show, because I know you know nothing about Reds pitchers and catchers, with all due respect to you, Houdini. But then it's Iowa State. It's at UCF. It's Oklahoma State. A 3-game stretch where Cincinnati could get hot, and maybe you lose to Texas Tech and Houston, and you sneak back into things. At TCU, at Houston, Kansas State, at Oklahoma. Then you got to beat West Virginia at home. So not easy sledding by any means. Your overall thoughts there. I love doing this, the schedule game. Run down it right now in about 5 seconds and give me the wins, losses.
We've had trouble winning at Fifth Third. I think we lose. Houston is loaded. Iowa State, I think we can absolutely beat. I think we actually match up pretty well against them. And then you're looking at UCF and Oklahoma State. So if we can get even a Texas Tech on the road, let's say, and we lose to Houston and we can pull one out against Iowa State, we're right back in the driver's seat. We got no layups in this conference, but then you got UCF and Oklahoma State. So if we can skate through those 2 games, and then you got TCU on the road, that could come down to us making the tournament or not. And then Houston at home, that's going to be tough. And then obviously we got another shot at West Virginia, actually. I didn't know we played them twice, last game of the year. So there's every opportunity is in front of us. You got to take it
number,
one game
right?
at a time.
8's that magic number?
You got to get 8 wins. I think
wins.
so, and it's funny the way that the Big 12 worked. We rigged the hell out of the net rankings. Our out-of-conference schedules across the board are atrocious. But what we did was beat the hell out of every team. Offensive efficiency was phenomenal. Defense, all the Ken Pom shit that everyone looks at. So we're in a good spot just being in the Big 12, beating up on each other. But we got to get some wins. So I'm not calling it a season or anything like that. We got plenty of opportunities, but tough to let one of these that was supposed to be a gimme slip away.
It starts with Texas Tech. That is on Saturday. It's a 6 p.m. Eastern time tip. And again, that is in Lubbock, Texas. Not a must-win game, but it's a game that the Bearcats could really, really use, to say the least. That game is on ESPN Plus. Another one of these, Houdini, where we're going to be watching the end on our phones. No fun whatsoever. Aside from Dan Skillings having his moments in the second half, Day Thomas having his moments in the second half, John Newman continuing to be the steady hand that leads the ship, and Victor Locken playing really bad. Did you have any other takeaways from the 5 guys that we haven't really mentioned?
5 guys that we haven't mentioned? Hold on. Let me pull up my notes, Chuck. I took some detailed notes here. We didn't even mention that Jizzle's got a new haircut, the high pony. I don't know how we didn't play him more minutes. I did like that we not enough, but he did go Day and Jizzle at the same time. I think at this point, when you're looking at how awful we've been offensively, why not give those 2 guys who are at least straight-up athletes, get it up and down the floor quickly, can get to the rim. Day finishing, very questionable, but to have 2 guys that can attack the basket on the court at the same time rather than having a Locken out there with an Aziz, at the same time. I still think we got to go small. As we have seen, scoring 50 points a game isn't going to get it done. We got to get some offensive threats out there. So that's what I want to see more of.
I want to see some more Xavier Cincinnati banter in the chat room. Some Musketeers hopped in. They got nothing better to do. They stink. The Muskies stink this season. So what do? They're going to hop in the Bearcats chat room under some alias, and they're going to be trolls tonight. Congrats on hanging your NIT banner last year. But look, I can't even talk. I'm broken inside because the Musketeers beat us again. And there's some delusional Bearcats fans out there that say, yeah, but we don't get up for that game. It's their Super Bowl. Shut up. We lose to Xavier every single year. We can't even stand on that right now. We can't beat West Virginia. We can't beat Xavier. Figure it out, Wes. Figure it the hell out. Any final thoughts before we play a snippet of this Miles McBride interview? Which, Houdini, I found out there's about a 95% chance that this is airing tomorrow on Off the Bench with Tom Brenneman. So how about you, Houdini? On the air with Tommy tomorrow.
I mean, it was just a matter of time. That was a collision course waiting to happen after I got the credentials to the UC games. I'm a big J now, man. I'm right up there with Tom Brenneman, Marty, all the guys. So I'm not shocked at all. But no, that's awesome. That'll be fun.
All right, so Miles McBride came on our show, The Chatter, today. Here's a good opportunity to tell you to subscribe to The Chatter if you haven't already. It's on the Chatterbox Sports audio podcast, wherever you get the audio podcasts, Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, whatever it may be. We had Miles McBride on, asked him a lot of local questions, obviously being a Cincinnati kid that went to Moeller High School, now plays for the New York Knicks, and happened to play at West Virginia too. One of the big things we asked him was, you were cousins with Yancey Gates. You were cousins with Anthony McBride. Both of those guys played for UC. Why the hell were you not a Bearcat? And his answer was, well, I didn't get recruited by UC or Xavier. We're going to play that right now. You should check it out on YouTube tomorrow and on Off the Bench.
After Off the Bench.
Yes.
It's after. According to Trace
and check out the show on the podcast app as well. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Another post-game show Saturday after Texas Tech. Tell your friends. If you like it, leave it 5 stars on the podcast app. We appreciate it. Here was a little snippet that we had with Miles McBride. The entire thing drops tomorrow with Deuce. Bearcats lose in a heartbreaker in Morgantown, West Virginia. See you, Houdini.
It definitely hurts, I think, being a Cincinnati kid and not getting a Xavier or UC offer. To this day, I don't know why they felt the need to go out of state when you have homegrown, really good kids right here in your backyard. I definitely think I would have considered it heavy if they would have offered. But my dad being a Xavier alumni, I could see why UC probably didn't pull the trigger. But I mean, I definitely supported UC, still do, just obviously being from there. I want to see Cincinnati do well. Xavier, though, I'm still not sure why Chris Mack never pulled the trigger. I still think about that, definitely. And it goes all the way up to Ohio State. Not sure why they didn't feel the need. But it all worked out for me. God had a plan.
It did. Well, I mean, I think it might have been for Mick Cronin's sake. You might have scored too many points in high school. He loved probably your defense, but he's like, that guy puts the ball in the basket too many times. We can't be doing that here at UC.
All right, so that does it for the show today. Appreciate everyone. Let's give some shout-outs on the Google page and go ahead and subscribe to that show. WVU, I have respect for you. I have respect for you guys. West Virginia, one of the all-time fun schools in America. I have great stories about West Virginia that I cannot say on the air. But if you ever run into me at a Reds game or something, be sure to ask me about those stories that I have in Morgantown, West Virginia, because they are electric, to say the least. So, Yo Boy Pop-Tart says, I have every right to hate Miles McBride. He went to Pacelli. I went to St. Mary's. He went to Mo. I go to St. X. Hey. Oh, God. Would hate to be those things. Casey, Luke Landman, thanks for hopping in. Trace, Jack Butler. John Newman. Let's hope John Newman's okay, because if he's not okay, a little sidebar here. We'll add this to the podcast version tomorrow. Would you think about potentially pulling the red shirt off Rayvon Griffith? I don't think that's going to happen. I don't even think it would be even entertained. But if C.J. Frederick's not coming back, We'll see if he does. And if John Newman's potentially out for the season, I don't think he's going to be. We'll see very quickly. Did you hop back on? Okay, I thought you were calling it a night.
I didn't know we were still doing the show. I'm like,
I wasn't going to do a show, but it was going to cut to black real quick, so I came on and was going to give some shout-outs, and then I realized that, Rayvon Griffith, could he slide into the fold here if John Newman's hurt? I didn't even think about that, or is there absolutely no chance in hell?
I think at this point it's tough to burn the red shirt.
Yeah, if you're in the mix for the NCAA tournament, though, at this stage, and you need a body.
I think it would come down to what, you'd have to have that conversation with Rayvon. Is he willing to, miss the first 20 games?
No, it wouldn't even come down to that. He wants to play, dude. It would come down to whether he's good enough to play on this team. And we don't know because, a guy like Sean Kilpatrick redshirted, and the next year he was like your second best player on the team. So sometimes it's just there's more seniority ahead of him. Guys like Newman and Skillings and Josh Reed that are probably more ready for collegiate basketball, clearly more ready for collegiate basketball. But that doesn't mean he couldn't play and at least contribute at this level. First things first, let's not speculate. Pray for John Newman. We need him back for Texas Tech on Saturday, or it could be some tough sledding because
absolutely,
this team doesn't have that many dogs, do they?
And do we have any updated information on CJ Frederick? Is there any timetable that has been shot out there by Wes? Because we need him desperately.
I heard he's getting close to returning to practice, whatever that means. Once he gets back to practice, I'm sure he'd practice for a week or so, see how the hamstring feels, and go from there. But hammies are tough, man. You ever tried running on a tweaked hammy? It's not easy.
I had a Charlie horse in high school that took me out for like 6 games. So
yeah.
I can't imagine the hamstring is going to be easy. But Matt Myers makes a point. Is it college basketball if you can play a limited amount of time and still qualify for a red shirt? I think it's college football that if you touch the field, it's gone.
No, it's the opposite. College
the
football.
Opposite. Okay.
Yeah, but it didn't used to be that way. I mean, I don't know when the rule changed, but I remember Sage Tolentino playing in a game in Maui last year, and somehow he's a red shirt. So I don't really know how the NCAA does anything. I mean, at this point, they're wearing number 7. We got players wearing number 8. I don't know when the hell that changed. That wasn't allowed back in the day. So I don't know, man. I just go to my 9 to 5. I hop on a post-game show. I try to tell it like it is. I give out some horrendous takes, and I have to watch a team that breaks my heart over and over.
We'll get Dave Yost to make him eligible no matter what. So we can have Rayvon play the rest of the season, and then we'll get his red shirt back by Dave Yost. That's the plan.
Yeah. Dave will be good. Hey, I want to finish it with this, folks. It's not over yet. That's all I'm going to say. The dream is still alive. Some of the best calls came to this song. Is it ever going to play? It's not going. Oh, I can't do the Batista with the catch! Sorrentine hit that one to the parking lot. And we're soon to add in Jizzle James, the runner. Bearcats still in the mix for an NCAA tournament. That's the good news. The bad news is after this game, John Rothstein's tweet that he had last game where he said the Bearcats are an NCAA tournament team. That's not necessarily the case. Win at Texas Tech, man. Win at Texas Tech. All right, I've had it. Thanks to everyone for joining. Again, subscribe to the audio podcast. I'm going to drink this Fuzzy Smack Berlinger Weiss with peach. I am not feeling peachy tonight. Good night, everybody.
That's an embarrassing beer. Good night, everybody.
We're still making the tournament. See you, folks.